Hello,
Good afternoon, Jones. How are you? You well?
I'm doing good. I'm very good, thank you.
We're here to talk about your music, specifically the new track that's coming out in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, but before we get to that, I think that track's called Camera Flash. Let's talk about Giving It Up. I like that. I like the remix.
thank you.
It seemed like it was well received. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, oh my God, it's I was nervous because I hadn't released any music for a few years now. But I'm so happy with the response. I've had lots of existing fans get in touch and say lovely things, lots of new connections as well. It's had some love on the radio as well, which is always, the dream. And the streaming's good, and it's just good to have it out there and just be back in the mode of sharing what I've been up to these past few years.
Yeah, I saw some good reviews. Why has it been a couple of years, Jones? Where have you been? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I mean, I've been writing a lot. And then also I had a changeover of record labels as well, so it takes some time to get settled in with the new team. And I kind of just needed to live life a little bit. I've been moving around. I moved house twice in that time,
Right.
and I don't know, life just goes by in a flash. I've been busy behind the scenes, mostly, yeah, writing. I went to New York for a little while to just get out of my everyday routine, and now I'm here back in London putting the music out.
When you release a track like Giving It Up, and you know it's part of a bigger body of work, what's the thinking? Because I can get a sense of what I think you're trying to deliver on a track like that, but in
Hmm.
your own words.
What am I thinking? How do you mean in terms of what do I
Just
want?
in terms of how the whole project binds together and where that track sits in your thoughts of how you want people to kind of take the whole project in, because I know it's just one part of a whole.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's one part. I think, as a human being, as an artist, you have so many different sides of you that you want to show. And all the songs that go into making an album, it can actually get confusing deciding which ones to put out first. In fact, when my label and my manager and I were choosing the order, I think there was a period of 2 weeks where every day we changed the song decision. We were like, no, we're going to go with this song. Oh, no, no, okay, we're going to go with a different song. So it's quite hard. And I guess with Giving It Up, I mean, the timing of all the release, with coronavirus and the pandemic, I mean, couldn't have seen that coming. I wasn't sure if I wanted to proceed with the plans, but then I felt like, you know what, I'm going to trust in what I do. I really think it's a positive offering into the world. It's a departure from reality. You kind of forget about your blues when you listen to it. Feels like summer. So I guess this song with Giving It Up is just meant to be a reintroduction of me into the musical world and just like a loving sunshine offering. If that
Regular voice readers would obviously have known all of that because they're on our website daily, and your story featured quite early with regards to Giving It Up. Next
brilliant.
track though,
Hmm.
Camera Flash.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how this one's going to be received. What about yourself? Are you?
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't excited, I'd be in the wrong game. But yeah, I mean, it's a slightly, I don't know, different sound to anything I put out before. It was influenced by like Daft Punk and kind of like electronic house music and disco and funk and pop. So it's kind of a fusion of all those things. And I just shot the music video for that this week, which was brilliant. And again, it's a slightly different thing to anything I've done before. I did throw myself into a pool of freezing water for the sake of art. So you have to look out for that in the video. So yeah, of course, excited to have that one out in the world and, just get it out there.
You've been described by the gal them as having crystal clear vocals, Sunday Times culture, smooth as silk, Greg James Radio 1, a beautiful voice. When I listen to your work, and I'm not a long-time fan, I'm a new consumer of your music, that was one of the things that stood out to me that you clearly have refined your delivery, your vocals. So talk to me about that process. I'm really interested in how you got into music and how you found your sound, because that's the biggest journey I think that a musician, artist, vocalist has to go on. How did you refine and find it and master it, as you seem to have done?
Oh, well, thank you very much for that. It's very kind. I mean, I've been singing since I was a little tiny person and always loved singing. And I guess it was in primary school where I realized I could actually sing. And I was in little choirs. I used to play the violin as well. So I learned musical theory from a young age. And then I really just learned by imitation. I listened to Stevie Wonder. I listened to old school Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson. And I really began to develop my voice by literally singing in my room with my hairbrush, going over and over on these classic songs. And then I guess when I got into adolescence, I started to just find my own voice by just writing songs and not trying to sound like anyone else, just kind of being comfortable in my own skin. But learning it, I bought, singing CDs of learning how to sing and how to project your voice and breathing exercises. I did all of that stuff. And then after a certain point, you just kind of have to take off the stabilizers and just see what you sound like and just kind of be brave and just be you, do your thing that is unique to you.
So in terms of you not trying to sound like anybody else, you mentioned some big names, some big icons who you were trying to emulate, but who else helped to kind of keep you inspired with music, and where other influences do you kind of delve into?
I mean, in recent years, I've really kind of got into an artist called Tame Impala, who is an Australian guy. His kind of like soulful, funk, rock, fusion, psychedelic music. There's a band called Little Dragon, who are Swedish, who were also a big influence of mine. And that was very much electronic music and very quirky, weird lyrics, which I found very inspiring and thought, I want to kind of bring my lyrics from that sort of viewpoint. Who else have I listened to? I like Leon Bridges. He feels just like a modern day Sam Cooke to me. Yeah, just like lots of different stuff, really. Lots of different.
What constitutes success to you, Jones? What's the view from the mountaintop look like for you?
I think, okay. To feel, oh God, many things. That's a difficult question. What defines success? A feeling of accomplishment, a feeling, I guess for me, a big thing, part of my musical journey was overcoming fears and insecurities, and that voice in the head that tells you that you're not good enough. So what goes hand in hand with success for me is knowing that I've silenced that voice, or for the most part, or I know how to silence it, or not let it hold me back. I guess it's getting to a point in life where you can just feel content with what you have, because I feel like it's part of the human condition to always be wanting this thing, wanting that thing. I need to buy this, I need to do that, I need to look like this, I need to achieve this. And at some point you just need to stop and take stock for what you have and be thankful. Otherwise you will never enjoy your life. So I feel like gratitude and success are very interlinked as well. Yeah.
How did you do that? How did you silence that voice in your head? Because that's something that a lot of people don't ever get to do.
Well, I would say, it's not completely silenced, but it's not in control of me. So I have things that I can do to make myself feel better. I mean, affirmations, telling myself I am good or I am worthy. Being creative and productive. When I write a song and I listen back to it, I feel in touch with like this sense of magic and energy. And meditation as well. And I don't, half the time I can't stop the thoughts in my head. Sometimes that feels very impossible, but I can get to a point where I can see that they're just thoughts and they're not necessarily me, which I find to be quite liberating, I guess. So I think it's just having many tools that help you to get to a point where you feel confident and settled in your own skin, and that would be different for every person, I think.
You mentioned you're a writer. Do you write much for other people as well?
That is an area that I haven't done that much of. I've had a few collaborations with DJs. There was a guy called Claptone and Cazette, but I would definitely love to do more collaboration, because I think it's, it takes you out of your box. It makes you put on a different hat and sound in a different way to the way you normally would. So yeah, I would love to do more of that.
You mentioned also that you just shot the video.
Yes.
For Camera Flash. So you've been quite productive since the lockdown has been eased, I take it. How did the lockdown affect your rollout for 2020, and how productive and constructive are you going to be now that we don't know what's happening, and how does the next few months look for you?
I don't know, to be honest human answer. I mean, well, the first question, it definitely affected things, because I would have had some festivals and definitely a London headline show, which would have been happening probably last month. So that's all, been suspended until further notice. And then I guess we just had to adapt our plan of how we're going to showcase the music completely, from being in the outside world and actually going to shows and doing things, to just making it purely digital, mostly through like Instagram and social media. So that's been interesting, doing lots of live streams, which is I've grown to enjoy it, but my first one I felt went like a train wreck, and I made a blunder with my phone. But for the rest of the year, I mean, just trying to roll things out as seamlessly as possible and just adapt with what we're allowed to do. So I'm not really sure what the next few months will look like, to be honest.
Okay, well, I wish you all the best.
Thank
with
you.
Everything. Yeah, no problem. I mean, there's no carnival. It's kind of weird in terms of looking forward. What are we going to be up to?
You don't know.
Just don't know, do we?
Yeah.
Well, I hope at least 10 to 20 million people download your album while they've got nothing else to do, and I hope that helps. And if you need any more help with promotion and just want to sit down and have a chat about things that matter, what matters? I mean, outside of your music, what matters to you at the moment? What's stoking your interest? I asked that at a time the world seems to be in turmoil, so I'm really asking everybody. No. Yeah, what are you interested in beyond your
one? I mean, obviously, as a human, but as a mixed race person, I've been deeply moved by everything happening in the world with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's made me ask myself and friends in my life questions, and put a lot of things into the light. And so that's the first thing that pops into my mind. I feel like I'm looking at so many different ways that even my influences as a person or an artist have been shaped by what has been allowed into my stream of, like, the shows I watch, the books I've read, the films that I would say, most of these have been predominantly, white sources, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what made me sad was that the lack of Black movies and Black books and things like that in my own identity as a mixed race person. And yeah, I think it's very interesting the way that a lot of my musical peers who are white have been talking about becoming aware for the first time of their own privilege. And it's not something that's I've seen discussed on social media outside of this time. So I just think it's been it's been a painful time, a deeply sad time. It's been inspiring. It's been hopeful. It's been overwhelming. It's been a mixture of emotions, really. But I guess, yeah, that's been at the forefront of my mind for the past month or so.
Yeah, and I think we've all got a lot more of that to come. Soul searching conversations to be had amongst peers, and just as we I guess move towards a new truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Jones, it's been a real pleasure
Yeah,
talking to you.
likewise.
We've ended on a bit of a deep note, but I think your music's going to be really, it's going to really provide a tonic for a lot of people that might be looking for an alternative sound to what they're into. And just if you've never come across Jones before, you'll understand why she's been lauded for her smooth, silky vocals, and I can't wait to hear more. So unless there's anything else you want to promote, where can people follow you? Where can people find you?
Oh yeah, that old chestnut. Good old Instagram. I'm at IC Jones, ISEE Jones, and all the Twitter and the Facebook and all of that fun stuff.
Jones, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.